Also tonight, North London's other superstar, Ian Wright. Arsenal facing an equally tricky tie at Hartlepool. Last season, Aston Villa ended Manchester United's hopes of a treble triumph, unexpected but deserving winners of the Coca-Cola Cup. Who will succeed Villa in this season's competition? Already some of the big boys are in trouble. Manchester City find themselves a goal down, beaten last night by Barnet. And Everton are trailing Portsmouth after the first leg at Goodison. Hello, good evening. This season's Coca-Cola Cup now welcomes in the big names, none of whom can take anything for granted, regardless of an opponent's inferior league status. Cup football will always produce an upset or two. Ian St John knows that. I certainly do.
We've all been on the wrong end of cup upsets, Bob, that's for sure.
It raises the old chestnut at this stage of the competition, 2 legs or one.
I have to say, I'm not for it, you know. I really do think, I mean, we had 4 shocks last night. As far as I'm concerned, that would have been 4 big boys out, and that's cup football. The 2 legs give the big clubs too much advantage, I think.
We're going to talk later about Gary Lineker's retirement, which is announced today. Just a brief reaction to that.
Wasn't surprised, really. You know, he's been a year out of the game with injury, and I think, you know, when the referees start running past you, it's time to turn it in.
OK, and thank you very much for the moment. Well, first port of call tonight then, Vicarage Road, Watford, where the First Division side take on Gary Lineker's old club, Tottenham Hotspur. After all their summer punishment, Spurs have been given new hope by the arrival of Jurgen Klinsmann especially. But they're also well aware that the Coca-Cola Cup represents their only chance of a Wembley final this season. Your commentary comes from Brian Moore.
So George Popescu of Romania is the man Ilzi Ardiles hopes will stabilise the Tottenham defence. It's his first appearance since his move from PSV Eindhoven. Ozzy says he's going to be a sensation. Well, he's only had 4 days training with his new team. Tonight he's going to play just in front of the back 4. So 2 Romanians, Dumitrescu is the other one, of course, and a German, Klinsmann in the Spurs lineup tonight. Gary Mabbott, a welcome return to the back 4. Calderwood and Nethercott are the 2 to miss out. Also out injured is Nicky Barnby. Mickey Hazard plays. Watford, more modestly perhaps, are glad to have their former Brentford man Keith Millen back in their defence. He's over a groin strain, but they're still without Colin Foster, Gerard Lavin and the suspended keeper Kevin Miller. Spurs for sure, they're going to be hustled in the midfield by Hessenthaler and Payne. He's newly arrived from Southend. And there could be a goal threat, of course, from the former Millwall striker Jamie Morley. A referee tonight, John Brandwood of Lichfield in Staffordshire. And it's an all-ticket crowd here at Vicarage Road, but none at the Rookery end. There's a 1.6 million stand being built there. That should be ready by next April. So will it be a night of rehabilitation for Spurs? Remember, they've lost 3 of their last 4 in the Premiership against an eager Watford side who've already held them to a 1-1 draw here in a pre-season friendly, which was certainly played at some pace. Ball played long there towards Sheringham. Klinsmann couldn't make it, and suddenly there's a break with Mooney now for Watford. Across the face of the goal, and Watford have scored in the opening minutes. Phenomenal start there for Watford. And a great run here by Mooney. And it's Craig Ramage who has put Watford, the home side, into a sensational lead. Ball hit long towards Morley. Well, that's an amazing start. Hazard. Dumitrescu. Free kick quickly taken. Popescu. Oh, that's a good ball. Kerslake now for Tottenham. Klinsmann waiting in the middle. Ball knocked back towards Dumitrescu. There's his shot and pushed away well by Digweed. A very slick move by Tottenham. A fine ball, in fact, by Popescu out to the right-hand side. Kerslake picking it up, and Dumitrescu's shot knocked away well by goalkeeper Digweed. Hazard. Edinburgh. Got a throw to Watford. Holdsworth getting that away for Watford. They try to thread the ball through to Klinsmann. A back heel by him. Dumitrescu's in there. Anderton's in there as well. And it's a goal! Darren Anderton makes it 1-1. And Spurs have recovered from that opening minute shot with a very slick goal indeed, scored by Darren Anderton. A back heel by Klinsmann. Anderton picking it up. A good shot on the turn, hit with power, and that makes it 1-1. A great turn and a fine shot. Popescu. Anderton running into trouble in the shape of Andy Hessenthaler. But Hazard now taking the short ball from Popescu. Hazard again, playing it for Sheringham. Here's Edinburgh. There's the cross. Oh, Watford getting it into Will's way there. It'll come for Teddy Sheringham again. There's his header. Klinsmann looked for a moment for the overhead. And Watford get it away in the shape of Gary Porter on the far side. Foul by Campbell on Morley, free kick to Watford. Millen is up. So too it's Holdsworth there. It was Campbell with a very positive header that got it away for Tottenham. Dumitrescu just keeping it in play. But here's Hessenthaler. Ramage. And a long-range shot there from Richard Johnson, who's got quite a reputation for long-range shots, and in fact beat Walker from something like 30 yards in that pre-season friendly. But way off the target there. Edinburgh's throw for Tottenham. Teddy Sheringham. Edinburgh playing it in. Anderton again on the far side. It almost fell for Klinsmann. In the end, it was Johnson just tucking it away to Mooney. He's made some good runs down that left side already, Mooney. But he was beaten that time by Kerslake. Hazard. Klinsmann. Good turn. Has he got the better of Holdsworth here? Still Klinsmann. It's another goal for Jurgen Klinsmann, who this season is a real goal-scoring machine for Tottenham. That's 8 in 7 games. He outpaced Holdsworth, looked up, saw the keeper, a flick with the outside of the boot, and Spurs go into the lead. A great bit of finishing by Jurgen Klinsmann. And Spurs lead by 2-1. And certainly the crisis of the first minute now seems to be behind them. Hessenthaler. Campbell there quickly for Tottenham. Ramage. Finds Mooney. Finds Porter. Well, he's got a shot on him. And a good one it was. Well saved by Walker. Just curling it around that last defender, but Walker covering it well. And Glenn Roeder, the Watford manager, looking fairly pensive, and just in front of him Eddie Plumley, who finished yesterday as the chief executive here and today becomes a member of the Watford board. So good luck to you, Eddie. Ramage, good turn. Hessenthaler taking it on board. Get it out to Mooney again. There's the cross towards Morley, but too close to Walker. Millen, he's lost it. Sheringham picks it up. Once again in the middle is Jurgen Klinsmann. But Watford escape. Popescu just poking the ball through to Mabbott. Campbell knocking it wide with their space for Kerslake to exploit on the far side. And across towards Klinsmann. A great header. Applause from his manager. His second of the night and Tottenham's third. There just is no way to stop Jurgen Klinsmann at the moment. And those who thought he was just coming for a last big meal ticket and a last resting place of an illustrious career just have to think again. Those last two goals of his have had class stacked all over them. But here's Mooney. No foul. Spurs leading 3-1. Back it goes to Walker. Knocked forward. Klinsmann with the header. Dumitrescu. Forward to Klinsmann again. Certainly got a liking for Vicarage Road, this German number 18. He scored in the pre-season friendly for Spurs. And two fine goals here tonight. Long towards Klinsmann. And Porter gets it back to Digweed. Mooney chasing this. Anderton. And again, some good play by Dumitrescu. Darren Anderton, a little touch now for Sheringham. For Anderton again, over the top. That was a great chance to make it 4. Little touch off. Sheringham playing him in again, but leaning back and the ball going over. Ramage, Hessenthaler. Payne just knocking it through again towards Ramage. Campbell there. Ooh, and it might come for Watford again. Might still come for them. Pushed away that time. Hessenthaler shot by Walker. Really is all action this cup tie. Both ends of the field, but Spurs slowly but surely getting the upper hand. Watford coming back at them very spiritedly though. Mooney. Porter. Morley. Flag had stayed down. Spurs were looking at the linesman. Morley couldn't finish it off because Campbell and Mabbott were there on him so quickly. And Anderson now at the other end. Klinsmann wanting it short. Dumitrescu's made a terrific break. And he just couldn't get on the end of it. He applauds a fine ball from Anderton, though. But the ball safely with Perry Digweed. Hessenthaler. Popescu. Here's Kerslake. Finding Sheringham. Trying to get Kerslake in. The full-back shot, though, covered by Digweed. There wasn't enough power in it. But it was still a terrific run by the number 22, David Kerslake. Here comes Campbell. Now Anderton again. Hessenthaler chasing. Edinburgh. Klinsmann a turn. Might have get it onto the right foot, but very un-Klinsmann-like. Doesn't even go for the goal kick. It's a throw to Watford. Johnson for Watford. Darren Baisley. Mooney's touch. Well cut out though by Popescu. Sheringham. Dumitrescu. Well, he and Klinsmann are up there. There's room for Klinsmann. Is this the hat-trick? It is! Which tops off a magnificent first half for Tottenham. And a quite brilliant one for their German striker, Jürgen Klinsmann. Good work by Dumitrescu. Klinsmann picked it up and finished it off most clinically to give Spurs a 4-1 lead. And a hat-trick here for Jürgen Klinsmann as the half-time whistle goes. And Spurs firmly in command. A tremendous first half for Klinsmann, of course. A good first half for Popescu, let it be said. And a brilliant one for Tottenham after that early setback with the goal by Ramage. So Watford get the second half underway. The game almost certainly beyond their reach now, with a second leg still to come, of course, at White Hart Lane. Edinburgh hitting it long. Holdsworth getting it forward to Johnson. Ramage playing it in. Anderton. Popescu to Sheringham. Here's Kerslake. Klinsmann. Kerslake again. Had some terrific runs in that first half. Stopped that time by Porter. Kerslake again, just knocking it forward towards Darren Anderton. And it's Digweed's ball. Porter. Anderton. Popescu. Sheringham. Given away again. Hessenthaler. Hessenthaler again. Mooney onto the left foot. A good shot! Striking the crossbar. Some excellent play by Hessenthaler leading up to that. Mooney again. And in the end, he's running out of space. Surrounded by Mabbott and Hazard. Up to Anderton. Mabbott again. Mooney's shot, beating Walker, but not the crossbar. Just though, you get the impression that Tottenham's appetite has been satisfied to that excellent first half of theirs with a 4-1 lead. Here at Watford again with Darren Baisley. Mooney chasing. A little trip there with Campbell. The flag has stayed down. A chance for Mooney. It's the second now for Watford. Campbell felt that he was fouled there by Mooney. But Mooney went on. The flag stayed down. There was no whistle from the referee. Mooney finishes it off. And it's now Watford 2, Tottenham 4. Good finish. Nicely taken on his chest by Gary Porter. Played up there for Morley. Back for Mooney. Morley. Porter. Hit long there. Edinburgh didn't really get hold of that one. Hessenthaler can turn it back in again towards Morley. There's a header, but it's saved by Walker. And away comes Spurs now. Played for Klinsmann by Danny Hill. Wants it back again. And gets it. Played across there. And somehow Sheringham missed it. Well, he scored 44 goals in the last 2 seasons. Top scorer both times, Teddy Sheringham. Scored only once this season on the opening day of the season. And that really was a glaring miss. Good work by Hill. But not by Sheringham on that occasion. Spurs still lead 4-2. Up goes Mabbott. Porter. Hessenthaler. Morley getting in behind them. Good work by Walker. And gets it through to Mooney again. Will he turn and he shoot? Ramage with the shot. Just wide for Watford. It's a terrific fight back now by Watford. But they're still 2-4 down. So close to a third goal. Some terrific keeping there by Walker. Just guiding it a foot wide. So maybe there's still work for Spurs to do. Popescu. Hill. It'll fall for Anderton. And now for Klinsmann. And even he can miss them. Already a hat-trick to his name, a glaring miss by Sheringham and now by Klinsmann. And the flag had stayed down, there was no thought of an offside. Popescu's header. Hessenthaler. Ricochets to Klinsmann. Dimitrescu. Anderton. Great save by Digweed. Fantastic action here at Watford tonight. With both goals in constant danger. Dimitrescu playing that in beautifully for the run of Anderton, and some good work by the keeper. Porter. Knocked down by Kersley. Sheringham. Hill. Here's Sheringham. And this time he has scored. Well, it's been a long time coming for Teddy Sheringham, not since the opening day of the season as he scored. Tottenham's top man for the last 2 years, and he's missed one glorious chance here tonight. But now he's made one count, and Spurs go 5-2 ahead. Defence again nowhere to be seen, and Sheringham made them pay for it. Popescu. Edinburgh. Dimitrescu. Flick to his countryman. Popescu. Hits it long there for Kersley. Kept that in really well. Teddy Sheringham. Popescu. Edinburgh. Anderton. The top of the Watford crossbar. Well, it was Anderton's finishing that got Spurs back on the road tonight, and nearly there made it 6 of the best. get there first. There might be a chance for Murray. He's brought down. That's a penalty. The referee might want a word with Walker. The Watford fans are saying off, but I'm glad he hasn't done that. But it was a good darting run there by Morley. And as Walker came out, he took him pretty badly, to be honest with you. And it's Gary Porter with the penalty. Saved by Walker. Well, we've just about had everything now. 7 goals, a lot of chances, and now a missed penalty, and now a corner for Watford. Porter with it. So a goal kick for Tottenham. Here's Porter. There's the save. It's with Anderton. Klinsmann. Sheringham. Knocked down for Dumitrescu. This is another one, surely. That makes it 6. Dumitrescu. Klinsmann's ball, flicked on, a nice chest down by Teddy Sheringham, and the Romanian international did the rest. Well, that is the man of the match, Jurgen Klinsmann with his hat-trick. We're now coming to time added on at the end of an exhilarating 90 minutes. Howells gets it away, the substitute on for Edinburgh. Mooney. Hesselthaler. Payne. And now Johnson, flicked on by him. Hesselthaler with a chance here for Watford, maybe. That's another one. That makes it 3 for Watford, 6 for Tottenham. Well, it was Hesselthaler who got the ball in. Whether it took a little deflection here because the angle was such an acute one. Possibly it was Morley who finally pushed it over the line. But he goes round Walker, and in fact it was probably an own goal by Gary Mabbott. Anderton chasing, but Digweed will get there first. The final whistle. What an extraordinary night of cup-tie football then. Spurs go into the second leg with a 6-3 lead. 9 goals, some very charitable defending on both sides, it has to be said. But out of it all, some really exhilarating football as well, particularly from Spurs and their attack in the first half. Klinsmann with a hat-trick. Anderton, Dumitrescu and Sheringham with the other ones. Ramage, Mooney and an own goal by Gary Mabbott right at the end. But overall, fantastic value for fans. And a final score then here at Vicarage Road. Watford 3, Tottenham Hotspur 6.
Something that Jurgen mentioned there, because tonight we've learned that Tottenham have launched a bid against their FA Cup ban, against their £1.5 million, against their 6 points, but it's going to arbitration.
That's right, non-football people as well, you know, lawyers and legal people. And, you know, I get the feeling that I think, you know, it might go well for them. I think maybe they can get reinstated in the FA Cup.
A lot of people in the country would like to see it because they look to be a really good bet as a cup side.
Well, I mean, they're playing such wonderful football. I mean, that was a classic game tonight, wasn't it? You know, and I think the new players, Popescu was terrific. I thought in midfield, Dumitrescu was like outstanding. But Klinsmann really is a bit special.
I said to you, didn't I, what a buy, what a star. And, I mean, you can only admire this. You particularly as a striker.
Well, I think the whole country now are delighted at this fella who wasn't the most popular player, let's face it. But look at that. He lets the ball run past him without even touching it. Now, that's a great skill. Trevor Brooking used to do that, by the way. I thought, you know, that was one of Trevor's little tricks. And brilliant. But here you go, the header. Redirects it into the far corner. And have a look when it comes over. He's in the middle of the sandwich here. Two defenders. Up he goes. He has a wonderful header of the ball.
Great direction.
Yeah, just placed it back where it came. And this was wonderful football, wasn't it? By the two foreign players. I mean, Dumitrescu's little back heel to him. Watch this. I mean, this is a classic. And there you are. We'll see a left foot. So he hit the first one that he's right, header for the second, and a left foot there for the third. Perfect hat-trick.
You can only admire Ozzy's philosophy, can't you? I mean, he started with 5 attackers at the beginning of the season. Yeah. He's still got 4 in there tonight.
Yes. Oh, I mean, we're all delighted the way Tottenham Hotspur are playing because, I mean, it's all entertaining football. I mean, we've got Newcastle up in the north playing great football and winning. We want Tottenham really to win more. They're losing a lot of goals. I mean, even tonight, they lost 3 and could have lost 3 or 4 more, couldn't they?
That man Klinsmann, in a way, his being brought to White Hart Lane has turned all that turmoil of the summer around.
Everything. All of a sudden, the whole club seems to be together. You know, the fans are backing a club, the players seem to be pulling their weight, and the whole thing seems to have sorted itself out.
You really thought Popescu had a good debut?
Yes, I did. I thought he played very well, and as I say, I thought Dumitrescu going through the middle tonight, he had so many chances going through there, I thought he played well too.
Yeah, wonderful. 10 years ago, he took his place in a young Hartlepool side. As for Arsenal, manager George Graham rests his Scandinavian internationals John Jensen and new boy Stefan Schwartz. We join it in the first half. Commentary from Gary Bloom.
So, a quarter of an hour in, still goalless between Hartlepool United and Arsenal. Smith picks out Ian Wright. Merson. Good stop by Horn. That was a lovely 3-man move by Arsenal, which probably deserved a goal. And this should have been the opening goal of the game. Merson arriving at pace inside the penalty area, denied by Brian Horn, who spread himself delightfully. Thompson gives chase, Lineker's there. It was an ambitious ball to find Keown, but it was well done. Burgess now. Thompson. And Halliday's through here. He's round the goalkeeper. Halliday has missed it. Oh, what a gilt-edged opportunity for Hartlepool United. And Stephen Halliday could have become the hero of Teesside had he scored that goal. There was some poor Arsenal defending, and Halliday, once he'd taken the ball round Seaman, seemed destined to score. That miss will haunt him for year upon year. Ian Wright. He's won another free kick. I think Arsenal will feel they could well be stung into action here. They've had a real let-off with that miss by Stephen Halliday. Can they make Hartlepool United pay for that miss? Yes, they can. And it's the captain, Tony Adams, who heads Arsenal into a 1-goal lead after 32 minutes of the first half. Merson took the free kick, and Adams, who scored his first goal of the season on Sunday at home to Newcastle, gives Arsenal the lead. Merson. Dixon. Merson again, always an option. Parlat. Nobody on the left-hand side of the penalty area, so Phil Gilchrist can bring the ball forward for Hartlepool. Hatchins calling for it. Lineker. Parler. There's the beating of Keith Oliver with some ease. Davis rolled into the path of Martin Keown. Arsenal looking for a second goal before half-time. They found Ian Wright. And it's going to be 2-0 courtesy of Alan Smith. Ian Wright will take a big share of the credit for that goal. He's running in the inside left channel to get on the end of Martin Keown's through ball was the key to the goal. And as he tried to place the ball wide of Brian Horn, Alan Smith was there for the simple tap-in. 2-0. Walsh. Holiday. Tate was wrong-footed. Parler wasn't, though. Gilchrist forces it back in. Now can Thompson keep the ball alive? Oh, yes, he can. Holiday's in the middle here. This is Holiday. Tate! Might come down to Lynch. The attack's not over yet for Hartlepool United. Oliver. Burgess now. Hartlepool have just lost their momentum for the time being. Gilchrist drives it back into the danger zone. Well, Arsenal have had another let-off here. Holiday had that very presentable chance with the header, and Tate must have thought he'd scored then. Tate. Lynch. Tate now. He's got the beating of Lee Dixon. Oh, and he watches the ball bury itself into the side netting after taking a deflection, and Mick Tate shows the way forward for Hartlepool United. His determination to get a shot in here was exemplary. Adams. Lynch. Tate now for Hartlepool. It's a good ball picking out Alan Walsh. Lynch. Suspicion of handball against Paul Davis. And there was tremendous vocal appeal by the home fans for a free kick. Merson's picked it up for Arsenal. As support from McGoldrick. Away by Burgess as far as Paul Davis. And right through here, he's round the back and tucks it away. Lovely finishing by Ian Wright. And his salute to the Arsenal fans sums up a very incisive Arsenal raid. Davis won the ball, and look how Wright stole in behind Burgess and tucked the ball wide of Brian Horn to give Arsenal a 3-goal lead. McGoldrick. Merson now for Arsenal. Keown. In towards Parler. Plenty of passing now. And Davis loses possession. Adams. This is what George Graham wants. Hartlepool chasing the ball and chasing the Arsenal shadows at the moment. Parler. Right. He's picked out McGoldrick. There was a mistake by Walsh there. McGoldrick's cross. Oh, that's a great Arsenal goal. Headed in by Paul Merson. Well, Paul Merson returned to Arsenal's team with 2 goals against the Cypriot Simonia Nicosia in the Cup Winners' Cup a week ago. But this was an easy header for him once McGoldrick had floated the ball in. Lineker couldn't pick out Merson, who was down the centre forwards channel then. Selly. White sprints down the inside left channel, and he's round Phil Gilchrist. And he squirted the ball into Ian Wright. Oh, what a well-taken goal by the Arsenal striker. He left the Hartlepool United captain Phil Gilchrist for dead, following this long ball by Selly. Look at Gilchrist, he wasn't sure where the ball was. Ian Wright knew exactly where it was, and he knew exactly too where the goal was. He looked up and scores Arsenal's 5th goal of the night.
Landy, welcome back to Hartlepool. Was it slightly nervy playing in front of, you know, your old fans and at the old ground?
I think I was probably more nervous tonight than probably playing at Wembley. But as I say, it was nice to get a good win and see a few of the family while I'm here.
Now, Arsenal's league form is unconvincing at the moment, so how important was this emphatic win?
Well, it's a good boost to get a good win, especially away from home, and by 5 goals has given the lads a lot of confidence and a bit of a G up, because I think the lads played well on Saturday against Newcastle, but Newcastle were just that bit better, so we'll be looking to string a few good results together in the near future.
Well, I know that's exactly what George Graham will want. He'll be happy enough with the 5 goals, because it's been a really poor start in the league, Ian, for Arsenal.
It's made it a struggle for them, Bob, because, as you know, you can't really afford to lose that many games in the league. They've lost 3 already.
Some people say about the Championship, they say 6, sort of maximum 7. They've lost 3 out of the first 6, so that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Well, I think if you look, when Arsenal did win the league, I don't think they lost 6 games.
Well, they only lost 1 the last time.
Well, I mean,
that was exceptional.
And they've lost 3 already. And how many games have they played? They've only played 6 games in the league, and they've lost 3 already. So it's a terrible start for them.
Interesting that George rested Stefan Schwartz, because I know you've been very interested about him.
Well, I think he's a very good player. In the Makita tournament, he was terrific. But he just came back from the World Cup. He was fitter than anybody else. He was really, you know, full of himself. But I think the boy needed a rest, Bob. You know, players come back off the World Cup and really need a bit of a break, need a rest. And he actually maybe needs a couple of games off.
I'm sure he does. Coca-Cola Cup ties were played this evening. Action from some of those still to come. But let's just look back 24 hours to some of the best action and real shocks from last night's 17 ties. Gabriel Clark reporting.
Not even the Barnet of the Barry Fry era could ever beat a Premiership side. Ray Clements' cut-price team managed it within 27 seconds. Free transfer, Dougie Freedman got the goal. Clements called it the greatest result of his career. It's been a difficult start to the season for Crystal Palace, but this result really was tough to take, because Armstrong, Salaku and the rest should have wrapped up this tie long before Gary Bannister's shot came back off Nigel Martin for David Magic Johnson to inflict another defeat. The fizz has gone out of West Ham United's attack as well, and when Martin O'Connor flicked on for Stuart Watkins, it all pointed to another shock, especially with Walsall's players out to impress new manager Chris Nicol. Maybe the Cameroonian Charles Nuttermark tried just too hard to win friends and influence people. But West Ham were only too grateful for their first away goal of the season. They never threatened to build on it, though, and it was a sign of the problems Walsall were posing that even Steve Potts was panicked into a second and decisive own goal. After 4 straight defeats, Fulham's win was one of the gutsiest performances of the night. Kevin Moore headed them in front, and it didn't look like they'd have to dig deep until 20 minutes from the end. The Canadian international Paul Pescosiligo bobs and weaves inside the penalty area and wins himself a penalty for the challenge from behind. Fulham can't believe it. Toddy Oligson puts away the spot kick. And Stoke, still without a manager, but with 3 wins out of 3 behind them, took just 60 seconds to get another. Fulham thought there might have been a handball there by Pescosilido. Before they could appeal, though, the ball was in the back of the net from Nigel Gleghorn. But the sense of injustice only brought out the best in Ian Brandfoot's side. Alan Cork's streetwise experience wins Fulham a penalty. Now it was Stoke's turn to be on the receiving end of some controversial refereeing. Carl Muggleton guessed right to save Gary Brazil's penalty, only for the linesman to pop up and persuade the referee Muggleton had moved too soon. Brazil handed the ball to Cork, but for the second time Muggleton saved, only for Robert Howarth to knock in the rebound. And Fulham gave themselves a real chance for the second leg by pressing for the winner. And on his home debut, Mark Blake got it for them just 5 minutes from the end. 3-2. At Goodison Park, Mike Walker was banking on the first leg tie with Portsmouth for his first win of the season. For an hour, all he got was another embarrassing examination of his defence. To make things worse, Jerry Craney, who Walker could have signed from Celtic in the new year, was the real tormentor, with 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. And when Ray Daniel was given the freedom of Liverpool to trot down the left and cross for Bjorn Christensen, the tie looked as good as over. But Everton's 2 major signings of the summer did make a difference after that. £2.5 million Vinny Samway sparked a comeback of sorts with his first goal since arriving from Spurs. And then the Nigerian Daniel Amokachi showed the pace and strength Everton reckon makes him worth £3 million. John Gittins conceded the penalty. Graham Stewart knocked it in, but Everton will have to score at least twice at Fratton Park to stand a chance. Reading, third in Division 1, carried that league form into the first leg tie with Derby. Commentary from Gary Bloom.
Taylor did well to handle the ball. Oh, that's a back pass. Quinn, he scored. Oh, what an error by Derby County. Carsley, Gabbiadini, still Gabbiadini, and they have the equaliser in injury time at the end of the first half. Now here's an opportunity, Quinn, it's 2-1. What a splendidly struck goal by Paul Holsgrove. Gilks, he's pinched the ball now for Reading. Scoot to the back post, Quinn arriving! It's 3-1.
Brentford could still cause a shock. They overcame Jed Brannan's soft goal inside 7 minutes to really test Tranmere, who'd won all 4 of their league games at Prenton Park rather more convincingly. Just 2,500 were at Selhurst Park, but Wimbledon still managed to lift themselves and probably do enough to make the third round. Kelvin Davis saved from Dean Holdsworth, but not from Marcus Gale. And then Mick Harford, brilliant since he arrived, according to Joe Kinnear, hooked in the second. Wimbledon aim to improve on the quarter-final round they reached last year. It was the longest and some reckoned the toughest trip for a Premiership side, but Queen's Park Rangers were comfortable enough at third division Carlisle, who huffed and puffed but never really looked like matching Les Ferdinand's clinical header.
Well, that's last night, and Ian, there were 4 Premier League sides who were delighted that it was 2 legs and not just one.
Well, that was the point I was making at the start of the programme, Bob, and you know, again, we saw it tonight. And you see the crowds. I mean, the away fans don't have to travel because they think, well, you know, they're coming back to our ground in the second leg. So the small gates, lack of atmosphere, and I think, as I said, the big clubs always feel they've got a chance. But maybe West Ham, Manchester City and Palace feel they can win it. But Everton have got to go down to Pompey, and that's not an easy one, is it?
What is Mike Walker going to do? It goes from bad to worse for everybody at Goodison.
Well, I live on Merseyside, and I have to tell you, I mean, the Everton fans are not too happy about the way things are going there. I mean, he has spent some money. They tried to get Muller to come over, and Muller wanted fortunes, didn't want to pay tax. I mean, nobody pays tax in Liverpool, you know. But, he didn't want to pay tax and went back home. He's trying to strengthen the squad, but he certainly needs defenders as well as forwards.
Hello again. We've already seen some typical cup tie cut and thrust. More now as Gabriel Clark rounds up some of tonight's other Coca-Cola second round first leg matches.
Well, Manchester United included 8 reserves at Port Vale. Hugh Johns is the commentator.
Kent will take this corner. Turning out as far as Landyman, and she's in there. 1-0, Port Vale. That looked like Sandyman. No, indeed, It took a deflection on its way in. So let's see. That's Sandyman. And it was Glover's goal. Oh, yes. It's on for Scholes. And he's got it. Well, well, well. Paul Scholes. 1-1. Travelling fans from Old Trafford well pleased with that. I make that 37 minutes of the first half. Bad mistake in the Port Vale defence. Well read. And Scholes will have a scholarly touch on that one. Clare. Well, that'll drop to McClare again. Reaching for Davis. Did well. Good cross. Yes! Beautiful goal. And Scholes has done it again. Wow, what a night for young Paul Scholes. His debut, the 19-year-old, and it's all down to that super cross ball from Simon Davis. But didn't he head that well? Beautiful goal. 2-1 United.
Well, at St James's Park, Newcastle were expecting to make it 8 wins out of 8 in all competitions. Commentary from Roger Thames.
A little bit of room there for Redfern. What a goal! Barnsley take the lead. Neil Redfern, a super strike. Beresford knocked in. Fox knocks it back, and Cole. And normal service is resumed. Beardsley now. Beardsley fires in the shot, but again Barnsley got enough men there. Howie won possession back then. Still Newcastle pressing forward. Watson has to deliver the cross, and Fox is there. 2-1. Rule Fox. That's relief.
And all First Division ties saw Charlton carry on where they left off against Swindon in the league last Saturday. They won 1-0 then, and on the hour they were in front once more as Gary Nelson danced around Fraser Digby. But it was a goal matched in quality soon after by Keith Scott. Charlton spent most of the evening dealing adequately with Jan Fjørtoft, but when Scott turned and shot all in one smooth movement, goalkeeper Andy Pedersen didn't stand a chance. Even so, the onus was still on Swindon to go for the winner, and that forward commitment caught them out badly in the final 10 minutes. They couldn't contain the tenacious Nelson, who might want to claim the goal, but it went in off a Swindon player. If that was a sucker punch, Swindon's chances of getting to the third round suffered a real knockout blow 5 minutes from the end, as David White brilliantly shot in his 7th of the season. It's Charlton's third win in 4. Sunderland went to the New Den unbeaten in the league, but the durability that served them so well in Division 1 went missing for the first half an hour at Millwall. Mark Kennedy's flick gave John Goodman the chance for the first. And Tony Norman in the Sunderland goal had even less chance with Millwall's second. Kennedy is a talent Mick McCarthy rates up there with the very best, and that's why. And Millwall, who hadn't won for 6 games, really should have stretched away into the distance by half-time. 4 minutes later, Gary Bennett is penalised for handball. But Alex Ray's penalty kick is too close to Tony Norman. And after that, the balance of the tie shifted. 10 minutes into the second half, Don Goodman, who'd failed in front of goal several times himself, did rather better as goal provider, and Craig Russell made it 2-1. That's the way it finished, but only because the Millwall goalkeeper Casey Keller sacrificed himself 7 minutes from the end. Phil Gray is clean through, but Keller did the professional thing. It infuriated Sunderland, and Keller knew the referee had no alternative. He's now likely to miss the second leg. Bournemouth arrived in West London, bottom of Division 2, and without 5 first-team players. But the rout Stamford Bridge expected never arrived. David Rocastle's volley was the high point on one of those evenings when the outsiders scrapped and eventually frustrated. So much so that the Chelsea number 7, John Spencer, was lucky to still be on the field at the end after triggering off the sort of scenes rather out of keeping with the Glenn Hoddle regime. Brighton did even better than Bournemouth. Liam Brady's side have shown decent form in Division 2, and on a night when there were a few more Premiership sides upset, Leicester couldn't keep them out. Kurt Nogan scored his 10th in 11 games, 13 minutes from time, and Leicester have a bit of work to do. But not as much as Ipswich Town. If it's a cup competition, Bolton are not the team you want to play. It took them just 6 minutes to ease into the scintillating form they showed in the FA Cup last year. Jason McAteer swept them in front. But the man who did as much damage to the Premiership clubs as anybody last year, John McGinley, wasn't to be outdone. 6 minutes from time, he was in the right place to hook in David Lee's cross. And it got worse for John Lyall's side. This was the heaviest defeat for any Premiership side this week, rounded off by a superb individual goal from the Bolton number 5, Alan Thompson. 3-0, and Bolton are as good as in round 3.
Ipswich defeated heavily, Brighton also losing, and we learned that Leeds United lost at home to Mansfield. Brighton winning.
Yes,
yes.
More biggies going.
Yes.
I felt a little bit for Ipswich, who had a tough one on Monday against Norwich and must have been really tired to play that one tonight. But a couple of incidents tonight there. I mean, we saw Casey Keller being sent off, Bob, and I think you as a goalkeeper, you may have your sympathy with him, but I don't think he can complain at this one. It seemed really rash to come out there and go for the ball with his hands, didn't it?
Now that's fine, Ian, isn't it? Where the inconsistency comes in, where earlier this evening we see at Vicarage Road, young Walker bring down the Watford player.
Well, this is the point that we're always on about, the inconsistencies of referees. Now, I mean, Walker goes out here, doesn't get the ball, and I think blatantly pulls him down, doesn't he? Goes in there, pulls him down with his feet. Bang. Now, that is, for me, a sending off. Now, 9 referees out of 10 would have sent him off, wouldn't they? But there you go, there's inconsistency, Bob, and I do think they've got to get together, the referees, and decide, do we send them all off or don't we send anybody off?
Yeah. OK, Ian, thank you. Now then, here's Gabriel again with all tonight's results.
Well, a good start for the holders. Aston Villa 5, Wigan 0, 2 for Dalian Atkinson, Dwight York, Dean Saunders and Neil Lamptey on his debut also scored. Brighton 1, Leicester 0, Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0, Hartlepool 0, Arsenal 5, Ipswich 0, Bolton 3, Leeds United 0, Mansfield Town 1. The biggest shock perhaps of the week. Mansfield 83 places below Leeds, winning with a goal from Simon Ireland. Liverpool 2, Burnley 0, John Scales and Robbie Fowler got the goals. Millwall 2, Sunderland 1. Newcastle 2, Barnsley 1, Norwich 3, Swansea 0. Nottingham Forest 2, Hereford 1, 2 for Stan Collymore after Hereford led at half-time. Port Vale 1, Manchester United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Bradford City 1, Swindon Town 1, Charlton 3, Watford 3, Tottenham 6. In the Scottish Coca-Cola Cup, Celtic 1, Dundee United 0, Falkirk 1, Aberdeen 4, and finally Hibernian 1, Airdrie 2.
Now, our last chat tonight has to be about Gary Lineker's announcement of retirement today. How good a striker has he been, Ian?
Oh, top quality striker without a doubt. I mean, his record is terrific in the game. I mean, I remember watching him as a boy very early on at Leicester, and this is him for Leicester, knocking him in. People started looking at him then. He was with Big Smith, funnily enough, then. Went to Everton, and he scored over 40 goals one season for Everton, which was fantastic. Goal-scoring tally there.
Continued it.
That's right. Then he went abroad, went to Barcelona, was a star there, which, you know, it's always difficult going abroad and becoming a star, but he did it there. Came back to Tottenham. This is actually his first ever goal for Tottenham. Nice little simple header, thank you very much, against Norwich, yes. For England, I mean, he was a great goal scorer.
These are two famous ones, aren't they? Everybody jumped out of their seat for that one against Poland in '86.
That's right, that was that one. And then here's another one. Again, and this was the 90... World Cup.
That's the 90 World
that was
Cup
90.
against Germany.
Yeah.
His strike rate extraordinary, isn't it? 48 in 80 internationals for England.
One behind Bobby Charlton, and Bobby had played 106 games, you know, for his 49. So it was a shame in a way that he didn't maybe equal it. But having said that, my little partner, 44.
I thought you'd mention him.
Out of 57 games, Jimmy Greaves, had Alf Ramsey not left him out, and Jimmy would have been the record goal scorer without a doubt.
I've got to ask you, what do you think Gary Lineker will do now?
Well, funny you should say that. I think there's a job going at the BBC. I don't know if you've heard.